and getting noticed. So we moved down. Me and my beloved wife Cornelia, of course the hero of this book, Life Animated. My two boys, Walter 5 and Owen just 2.5. It felt like it was all there within reach. The things you're taught to want. We get to Washington in a little while, something's not right. I come home from work. I stopped telling Cornelia what was happening at work because more was happening at home. After a month or 2 months, she's like, something is wrong with Owen. I don't know what. I mean, he's not looking at me anymore. I mean, he's miserable. He was always happy. And then he's not talking. And after 3 months, the few hundred word, 2.5-year-old vocabulary is down to one word, juice. One word. At which point I know something has gone wrong. I said, this doesn't make sense. Kids don't grow backwards. We started looking for clues, like clues to a kidnapping. And then we go to the first doctor, who sends us to another doctor. And then the third doctor is a woman, a tall woman in a white coat, who sits us down in the chairs. We're looking at Owen for a while. She says, let me explain this to you. This is called autism. Now, we knew nothing of autism. It was 1994. We knew Rain Man. That was it. I said, you're saying my son is like that Dustin Hoffman character? She's like, yeah, kind of. If you're lucky. He's lost all speech. Some never get their speech back. This is a long time ago. Now we know it's 1 out of every 42 boys on the autism spectrum. 2.5% of the male population in the United States. 40% never have or get speech back. This is called regressive autism. It's about 1/4 to 1/3 of all the kids. They seem normal, they're typical, they're chatty, they vanish. The people sitting in the chairs with that doctor, I can see them now like it was Tuesday. They were frozen. And they never unfroze. We floated up at the ceiling, out of body. We never really returned to those people. We became other people. In some ways I don't miss either of them, and Cornelia agrees. Because we were beginning to grow. Here I am, I've already taught at Harvard. My mother was very proud of me. She lived in a place at that point in Boca Raton. That's where all Jews go eventually. It's called the Polo Club. That's the great line of great Jewish polo players. It was I think about it. My grandfather, great-grandfather coming from Russia, polo. First off, the mallet. What am I going to do with a mallet? And you can't swing it unless you're on a horse. Well, I don't have a horse. I went down to visit her. Someone said, hi, I spoke to your mother. I understand you're the editor of the Wall Street Journal. I said, I'm the editor. I've only been there 2 years. But we were changing against our will. Owen vanishes and he's silent. What he's doing surprises us. And he loved to do before. He loved to watch these movies. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of these movies. Anyone here ever see the movie The Little Mermaid? See your show hands. Oh gosh. Oh. The Walt Disney Corporation is so happy. That's what Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King. Oh, yeah. You know, Disney had a couple of tough decades in the trough, and then they come roaring back. 1989 with The Little Mermaid. What a movie. Owen loved watching it with his brother. Every kid did. You know those little clamshell cases with the videos in them? Well, another thing happened in the mid-'80s, which I didn't really think about till much later. The VCR arrived for home use. Fully penetrated by that point. You can watch it over and over again, and they did. But then after the autism's onset, seems to be the only thing Owen likes doing. The only thing that seems to settle. We go to a doctor. Now, this is a new doctor. The tall woman who told us about autism, we completely demonized her immediately. It's called denial. We called her the ice queen. She was the ice queen. We were in 10 minutes in the car, she was the ice queen. The new doctor we saw was much better. Much, much better. He was a Jewish guy at this tall. And we said, what's up with the videos? Is that okay? Well, is he settled? Yeah, he seems to be. Is he joyful? Yeah, he seems to light up watching them. Okay, well, just watch him. You can still watch, but not too much. Well, Cornelia was taking him to all the people you know in this area if you lived in our world. All the speech therapists, OTs, play therapists, the grade span people, Bill Stitcher to get tested, everything. And when he wasn't at one of those places, he was up watching the videos. At this point, he's murmuring a bit of gibberish. 6-8 months into the silence, baby talk. And he's saying, juicerose, juicerose, juicerose. Cornelia thinks he wants juice. She gives him the sippy cup. He graduated to the big boy cup a year and a half before, but now he's back to the sippy cup, the baby cup. Because he's not being juice over. His motor function went to hell, with one exception. The thumb on the rewind button. Rewind, rewind. So we go up. The only thing we can do as a family at this point and watch The Little Mermaid. It's a year into the silence, and we're watching. A family on a rainy day in Washington. Owen's watching the part in The Little Mermaid, some of you must know, where Ariel, the protagonist, the selfish girl who wants her man. You bet. I'm there, I'm right in the room. Oh, we don't want what we want. How do we get it? That's the question. So, what does she have to do? She must make a trade. She wants to get a man, she's got to be human. How much will she trade? What will she trade? The sea witch Ursula says, it won't cost you much a trifle, really. Just your voice. Owen hits rewind. Walter's like, Owen, just watch the movie. Rewind. Second time. Third time, Cornelia turns to me and says, it's not juice. I said, what? It's not juice. So, it's just your voice. He's saying just your voice. I grab Owen, just your voice, and he says, juice-a-bose, juice-a-bose, juice-a-bose. We called this our Helen Keller moment in our water. So we go to our doctor, Alan Rosenblatt, and we say, what happened there? What happened? He's in there, right? He's in there. And Alan said, sit down. This is a little more complicated. And we sit down again. Now we are growing a little, so we're not frozen in the chairs this time. He said, this is called echolalia. I said, I already don't like the sound of that. Echo. You see, they don't understand, it's just noise to them. Their auditory processing goes to hell. I said, so they're just parroting. Yeah. So we're somewhere between Helen Keller and the pet store. I don't like that. But that's what we said for years. Cornelia works night and day. I'm going to the office to make more than any reporter has ever made in history. Because we're bankrupt. Quick. Alan Rosenblatt at one point says to me, the doctor, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a newspaper reporter. He said, I'm so sorry to hear that. I said, why? You just paid me $150 for this hour. And we're going to do a couple of these a week, and you got others too. And we're not covered, you know that, on insurance. Huh. You good with numbers? I said, meds. Investment banking, nice choice these days. I said, I'm a reporter. I make stories, is all I can do. You better be a good one. Years pass. More gibberish. Next year, it's Booty Lies Whitney. Any guesses? Booty Lies Whitney. Come on. Beauty lies within. We have a winner. That's from Beauty and the Beast. We go back to Rose and Black. Parrot? Well, could be. Can't know. Oh, it's just gibberish. It just sounds. How's he picking that phrase out of 89 minutes of gibberish? Well, she always tells at the end of the Disney movie. So here we come to the moment. On a 6.5, he's up to a 3-word sentence. I want you, after years of effort. Let me say a little about another actor in this drama. You've met me, you met Cornelia, you met Owen. Do we have any siblings of folks with challenges in this room? If we do, I'd like to see them stand up, please. Let's hear it for the siblings. Come on, give it up. Yes, indeed. All right. The parents at some point revanish, but the siblings, there for the life journey. And they learn from each other and they grow together. It makes them all stronger. So who's the sibling here? Walter, the older brother. Part of what this book's about is what I do as a writer. It's about story. It's about the power of story. It's about the stories we tell ourselves to make our way in the world. That's my thing. But I didn't realize, just like some of the sources I would interview, that the stories I told myself weren't actually the real stories. This happens when you're a reporter. You sit with someone, they tell you a story. Like, for instance, at one point, I did hear a story that I knew was wrong. I said, Mr. President, that's not the truth. But I love you asking it. I want to hug you. That wasn't a real story. We told stories to ourselves. One of the stories about Walter. Walter, the most independent child in the world. Can handle anything. Handle anything the world sends its way. Incoming missiles, adults, children, police officers, Walter. And the key thing is he will never leave his little brother behind. Those two things together. So we told ourselves. Part of the process of doing this book is I had to interview my sons. To call Walter up to our house up in Vermont and treat him, as he said, like a White House source holding onto a classified document. I said, Walt, you gotta sit down, I'm gonna have to grill you. He's like, oh, is this really necessary? I said, yeah. And Walt's tough. Tough. Play football at Cibal France, which I know. Yeah. He's like a Jewish Marine. Yeah. He hits the beach and then he feels guilty later. Actually, I have to tell you, the Cibal France football cheer is a Quaker school, nonviolence. It was beat them until they reached consensus. On the shirt. So I sit Walt down and said, Walt, you got to tell me things that no kid should have to tell his dad. You're 25 now. I need to know everything, what you were really feeling. Not what you think I want to hear. He's like, all right. I'm glad you're sitting. Let's start with that story you and Mom told each other and all your friends. Walt, the world's most independent guy. Needs nothing. Demands less. One of the stories you told? A big one. A favorite. First day of school at Lafayette School in Northwest. Walt, 6 years old. 5 blocks from the school. Walt, Owen, and Cornelia in the car. He says, Mom, you can just let me out here. I'm good. She's like, Walter, what are you talking about? I mean, this isn't Dickens. They know you have parents. I'll go from here. I'm good. Bye. Then he rides his bike to school every day, even in the winter.